I know that many of us are afraid of sugar, but what if the alternative was actually worse? In this video, I'll be discussing how fake sugar has taken over the diet industry and why we actually need to be cautious consumers. So if you like this kind of content, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. And let me know your thoughts down below as we go through each section. I've never really done scripted content before, so this is kind of new to me. So please let me know how this goes in the comment section below. I used to be an absolute fiend of 0-calorie drinks and snacks. I mean, I still crave them to this day. And when my husband met me, all I had in my fridge was Coke Zero, Diet Coke, Powerade, and maybe some Propel. So I'm definitely versed in fake sugar, and I honestly have tried it all. From artificial to quote-unquote natural sugars, and what I found is it's all just another disguise for addictive, ultra-processed foods. The first section of this video is going to be defining fake sugar. The first category of fake sugar is going to be the artificial and synthetic sweeteners. That would include aspartame, which is commonly found in Coke Zero, Diet Coke, honestly any diet soda in general. That's like a classic diet soda, not like one of the new health conscious sodas. Then you have like sucralose, which is another word for Splenda. That would be like Yoplait Light. Honestly, it would say Splenda on it because it's such a recognizable name. Then you have Sweetenlow, which is saccharin. It's not widely used anymore, but it used to be used back, like Splenda and Sweetenlow were like the big OGs back when I was little. That would be like those pink sugar packets when you're at like a restaurant. That's Sweetenlow. It's not widely used in normal products anymore because it has a very strong flavor, and I feel like there are so many other alternatives that companies have decided to pick that have more palatable tastes, but I have the taste in my head. My brother used to literally open up the packets and pour them on the like restaurant table and just like eat it. I used to add it to my tea at restaurants. I don't anymore, but that's the pink sugar packets. That's what that is. And then you have Ace K, or it's the pronunciation is asulfame potassium. I'm just gonna say Ace K. It's commonly confused with aspartame because the naming convention is very similar. And I swear to God, anything that has aspartame in it also has Ace K in it. It could be labeled as Ace K, it could be labeled as aspartame K, or aspartame potassium. There's lots of naming conventions for it, but it's basically in everything that's artificially sweetened, just like aspartame is. And then we get to the category of what we see nowadays, which is the natural, quote unquote, natural sweeteners, re-emphasizing for the audience out there that natural is still not a regulated term by the FDA. These companies are using the term natural because it comes from a leaf or derived from a leaf. It's derived from a fruit. It's just a marketing term. It literally means nothing legally. Like, it has no legal definition. Natural means nothing. Okay. These are literally still ultra processed food additives. Don't get it twisted. Don't let them twist your brain. These are not natural by any means. You could not make this at your house. You could not take a stevia leaf and make stevia at your house. You could not do that with monk fruit extract unless you have fancy equipment. Okay? And honestly, I don't even need to make examples of stevia and monk fruit extract because they're literally in everything. Like, monk fruit is now replacing stevia in products, but stevia and monk fruit are still the most widely used sweeteners in today's time. Then we have the category, I guess I could call them like honorable mentions for the natural sugar products category. This would be sweeteners that are used as bulking agents for natural sweeteners. So they're considered natural, but like when we look at them, most of the time we don't consider them natural or we don't notice their existence. That would be erythritol, which is often used as like a bulking agent with monk fruit, and then allulose, which is typically mixed with stevia and monk fruit in products. They are used independently of each other, but typically they're used as bulking agents for the natural sweeteners category that we just talked about. And I do want to mention that there are a lot of other fake sugars out there that I'm not talking about, like sugar alcohols and like other synthetic sweeteners. And I don't think I'd missed any natural sweeteners, but it's certainly possible that I have. But here's the thing. These are the ones that are most commonly used and studied. And so for this video, I'm having to summarize for time, and if I add all of these things in here, it's just going to be so overly complicated that no one's going to care and listen. So I'm just going to stick to what I believe is relevant here because it's my video. And so let's go to the first category that I'm going to talk about, which is the reason why I'm so passionate about not eating fake sugar anymore, even though I want to. And it's cravings and sweetness conditioning. We are aware that all sweeteners are several times stronger than table sugar. Some are even hundreds of times stronger than table sugar, like monk fruit extract. And when you consume something that is that sweet, your brain gets the signal that you're eating something that is supposed to give you the signal of several times or hundreds of times stronger than sugar, but your body doesn't feel the calories and the signals that your brain is feeling. So then your body isn't responding the way that your brain is telling it to. So it becomes disconnected. You're essentially increasing your craving and tolerance for sugar without your body being able to signal that it has received like the proper and correct nutrients. A study from USC found that when looking at brain activity, sucralose increases the signals for hunger when compared to plain water and table sugar. Basically, in short, the participants who consumed the sucralose showed increased hunger signaling when compared to participants that consumed plain sugar. And a study from PubMed found similar findings where they determined that non-caloric sweeteners have a significant impact on appetite. In my own experience with this is that they increase my sweet tolerance to where I feel like I need much more sugar to like taste any sweetness from anything, from fruit, from yogurt, from anything. Essentially, when I go back to tasting real food, it tastes bland and I have to keep adding sugar until it like I can taste it again. But here's the thing, if you stop eating sweeteners and start using real sugar again, I promise you that you'll be able to use less sugar and even eat like plain Greek yogurt without needing sugar. And I promise you that you will feel so much better. I promise. The next category that I wanted to talk about was how fake sugar affects your gut microbiome. It's likely that you're already aware of the effects of artificial sweeteners on your gut microbiome. A literary review found on PubMed in the National Library of Medicine suggested that conclusions are mixed on whether or not natural sweeteners like stevia have negative effects on the gut's microbiome. Several studies found a negative effect, while others showed minimal to no difference. And natural sweeteners like monk fruit haven't been around long enough to be used in any long-term health studies. And honestly, what I'm taking away from this is that we really don't know. And because of that, I just have to go by how it makes me feel after I eat it, which is severely inflamed. And I feel like it messes up my stomach's ability to digest fruits and vegetables. But, you know, that's just my personal experience. I have chronic illness, so maybe my stomach is more sensitive than your stomach. The next category I want to talk about is the hormonal effects. From what I could find, GLP-1, PYY, and ghrelin are all hormones that affect satiety. Artificial sweeteners are known to not trigger these hormones like regular sugar does. This suggests that when you eat sweeteners, you will not feel full and will continue to seek sustenance. And like with the effects on natural sweeteners and cravings, there aren't many studies on the effects of hormone production with natural sweeteners. However, we do know that because they contain no calories, they do not trigger the GLP-1 hormone, which is key to tell your brain that you're full. The study that I have linked down below for this one was done with stevia, where they mixed sweetener and water, and then they had two controls, one that was just water and then one that was water and sugar, sucrose sugar, not sucralose, sucrose. So they had the three different waters, and the mouse had significantly higher water sweetener intake when compared to the other controls. So the mouse kept going back to get more and more sweetener water. And this brings me to the category that I feel like most people talk about when they talk about artificial sweeteners and why they avoid them, and that would be cancer. Aspartame, which is the artificial sweetener that actually has like a group classification for being a carcinogen. It is a group 2B carcinogen, We know that grouped carcinogens have the possibility of causing cancer, but just because something is not grouped or not a carcinogen doesn't mean that it doesn't have a link to cancer or will be found or won't be found to be carcinogenic in the future. And I'm not trying to use the logical fallacy of let's just be afraid of everything that's unknown. But given the mixed findings and the limited long-term data for these sweeteners and how it makes me feel personally when I eat it and consume it, inflammation causes cancer. And if I'm feeling inflamed after I eat fake sugar, I'm not saying that it does directly cause cancer, but personally, with the limited long-term data, I choose to exercise caution. And these sweeteners are labeled as non-nutritive substances. And according to another study found on PubMed, these substances' health effects can't be determined due to the lack of study. So we don't know. And what we do know is that sweeteners like aspartame and erythritol have adverse health effects, which I'll talk about erythritol later. But what are we to say that others don't have any adverse effects too? Until more studies are done, we won't know. So, like I said before, I personally choose to exercise caution with that one. There are findings from Upstate Medical that may suggest that all fake sugars have the potential to cause cancer. Their study was on liver cancer specifically, just making that clear. Many sweeteners are used in excess of what is generally recognized as safe, since many companies are putting a lot of it in everything. It's like, as a consumer, you are most likely, consuming it in excess. They are also in almost every ultra-processed food that exists nowadays, even if it's just like a little bit of allulose sprinkled in at the end. Even if it's has regular sugar in it, it's possible it also has a fake sugar in it. And they're just incredibly hard to avoid in the American market. And the article that I'm listing below for this one talks about how when they exposed cancer cells to artificial sweeteners, the tumors grew faster. They also can have harmful effects on the liver, which this whole study was talking about liver cancer. So specifically, they're saying that the harm that it's causing to the liver it's possible that it could cause liver cancer, but obviously it's hard to know because a lot of these sweeteners aren't studied and don't have long-term studies. Not to mention that erythritol, which is commonly mixed with monk fruit as the main bulking agent. Anytime you buy a bag of monk fruit at the store, it most likely is mixed with erythritol. It has a known association with increased clotting risk, according to the Cleveland Clinic, which is also linked below. All the studies that I looked through are linked below. Let me just talk about my personal experience. So like I said at the start of the video, I used to consume so much fake sugar in all forms, food, drink, otherwise. And I told you about my brother eating it all by itself. It was everything. I ate it my entire childhood into adulthood until my husband met me and told me, please stop. Everything I used to consume had fake sugar in it. And I look back at it and I understand why I felt so out of control with my eating and with my mind. I decided to quit fake sugar when my husband came around and asked me to stop for my health. And I have been as sweetener free as I possibly could for the last 5 years at least. I have been more calm, more able to understand when I'm hungry and why I'm hungry, what I'm hungry for, and I don't feel nearly as out of control with food as I used to be. I recently decided, because I hadn't had gum in literally years, to try and use gum as a way to de-stress because I was clenching my jaw. I was having extreme jaw pain from clenching my jaw. I was like, I need some gum. It's extremely hard to find gum without artificial sweeteners. Extremely hard. So I was like, screw it. I'm gonna try regular gum. It's plastic. It has fake sugar in it. Whatever. I'm gonna eat it. Well, not swallow it, but chew it to help me de-stress because I was like, I need something. I was trying to use it to de-stress because it like eating and drinking is associated with calming your brain because it like tells your brain that you're okay. So that's why I was trying to use gum. And it worked. It worked for my stress a little, but I slowly lost control of my hunger and sweet cravings. I started adding more sweetener. I started adding more sugar to my coffee than I normally do. And that's typically an indication to me that I'm starting to like let my sugar addiction get me. And then I saw myself, I went to the store and I decided to try those 0-calorie like protein yogurts because I am literally 5 foot tall and it's so hard for me to reach my macros for protein with so little calories. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try the 0 sugar protein yogurts because I'm so ridiculously hungry and I need something that's low calorie and high protein. This is where I went out of control. They've been around forever, but I wouldn't try because of the fake sugar. But then I just slowly lost control. I was inflamed. I started overeating. I was eating like 3,000, 4,000 calories a day. And I felt like I just couldn't stop myself from eating. Like I felt like I could not eat enough, even though I wasn't like, my stomach was like, I'm content, I'm full, I'm not hungry. My brain was like, you need the food, like you need it, like you're actually gonna starve to death. And it took me about 3 weeks, which is a little longer than it probably should have taken me to realize that it was the fake sugar. It was the fake sugar. And I want to so desperately eat fake sugar again because it's easy. It's easy to pick the items off the shelf with perfect macros and expect it to supply me what I need so that I can move on with my day. But it, honest to God, does not work that way. No matter how much I want it to work that way, it doesn't. It is an ultra processed food and one that is going to make me come back over and over and over again. Like an addiction. And at least that's what I've dealt with in my own experiences. I'm never feeling satisfied, never in control. And the main takeaway from this is that there is no easy alternative to whole, unprocessed, and minimally processed foods. This video is my reminder that FOMO and laziness isn't gonna get me healthy, and to remind myself to stay away from fake sugar. If you ever see me using fake sugar on this channel, it means I am desperate because I am short and I don't have many calories at my disposal, but I promise I do everything in my power to eat real food. And honestly, you should too. I literally stopped eating the gum and stopped eating the yogurt and trying to make low-calorie cloud bread. Literally 2 days ago, in the last 2 days, I have easily met my calorie goal with extra calories to spare. And I don't feel hungry, I don't feel crazy, and it's like, it really tricks my brain into thinking that I'm starving when I'm definitely not. So this is just a reminder to everyone actually to stop, just stop. It's annoying because like for protein powders, I use plain unflavored protein powder and it's literally so annoying to flavor it myself. But I promise you that it's worth it. I promise you that if you stop eating fake sugar, fruit will taste sweet again. Isn't that what we all want? To not have to add sugar to anything? That's what I want. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Please let me know if you liked the video. Please like it down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on this because I honestly want to know that I'm not alone in this because I feel like all of the diet content that I consume is covered in fake sugar, and I just want content that is not fake sugar. That's all I want. Please let me know in the comments if you have other influencers that don't use fake sugar, or what your thoughts are on this whole thing. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.